All right. And then also I got another email from Adam also with a great picture saying, I can understand Lewis's position on voting. Lewis refuses to vote, basically. And let's put up the picture that Adam sent me. If voting changed anything, they'd make it illegal. I mean, is that part of your sentiment, Lewis? You think that if voting really made a difference, somebody would have already figured out a way to prevent you from
That's
voting?
brilliant. I could adopt that as my mantra.
What could make you vote this election, this presidential election?
Cash money.
That's it. If you were paid money, you would vote. Otherwise,
The big bucks, Dave. The big bucks.
There's no political situation, a close race, polls every month that say in Massachusetts it's 50-50 between the two candidates that make it onto the final ballot. You still wouldn't vote? I thought a lot of it
Probably
was
not.
you just feel like in Massachusetts your vote doesn't make a difference because the Democrat always wins.
Largely that's true. But in general, I am protesting the system.
All right.
Yeah.
Hell of a protest you've got.
Don't make me start recruiting people, Dave.
Do you want robots to grow your food? Would you be okay with that?
I'd have to learn more about it.
Well, there's a lot of new future of farming type videos which are talking about a lot of different technologies. And one of them is the possibility of these robots that would be able to figure out exactly where seeds need to go, the best distance for planting. Basically a robot that could handle the fields completely. Here's a little bit of video of a prototype.
Prospero is a working prototype of Phase 1, a swarm of autonomous microplanters. Operating as one organism to plant a field, they determine where and how to plant each seed to maximize the productivity of each acre, farming inch by inch. First, they check the ground below to see if a seed has already been planted and whether proper seed space...
Okay, so what's your thought on something like that, Lewis?
Well,
before you answer, let me actually give a little more background.
Okay.
A lot of people say farming is already too industrialized, but there's others who are saying it's the wrong type of industrialization. We really need, like the Iowa inventor who kind of envisions this army of robots, we need robotic farming. And Discovery News has reported on this Prospero. It's David Dorhout's six-legged farm robot. If you're just listening to the show, it looks almost like a spider. And the idea is that this would be much more effective than a farm crew, and that this could really allow a new level of automation in terms of farming. The question is whether you would like that. I mean, the question is, do you want to heavily...
Mike was off again. Fewer jobs. It's fewer jobs, right? I mean, of course, you've got the people manufacturing.
Forget about the economic side, though.
Okay.
Would you have any problem with eating food that was planted and harvested only by robots? No human ever looked at how is this being planted, which one of these am I picking and packing for you? It's all done by robots. Would you have a problem with that?
No, as long as the final product was looked over by people. Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
What if it wasn't?
If it wasn't, that's concerning.
With these robots, you could basically completely automate the planting, harvesting, and packaging, and by the first human eyes might be when it gets to a supermarket.
I'd like to think that the USDA would not allow that. That it has to be inspected by humans at some point.
Okay.
If that's the case, I'm totally fine with automated farming.
What do you think of this, Natan?
I mean, given the problems with food contamination and all sorts of disgusting factory farming techniques that involve people, I would say that with robots, it's possible to maybe even make it safer than with people.
Well, I agree. I agree with that. I mean, the real question is, do we really want a fully robotic future? And I think the question for me is, should robots run airport security? And there, I would venture that right now, based on technologies I'm aware of, I would still want, ideally, a better trained person than in the TSA.
You'd still want that pat down?
I don't know
Dave?
that I'd want the TSA, but I think that, the way Israel does airport security, as we've seen. Send me your thoughts on this. Yeah, Natan.
I don't know if it would be a good question for morality with Motamedi, but would it still be offensive to a person being patted down if a robot were doing it? Like if a robot
were touching your genitals?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that okay?
Let's leave that one for another show. That's
Okay.
a good question.